Jermell Charlo does it again, exceeds over 2 million in viewership for his rematch with Tony Harrison. Great numbers to close the year for Fox PBC. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the Super Chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Sign up for ESPN Plus below using my link. It does help the channel, and I appreciate it. So, numbers came out for Jermell Charlo's. I'll just read the tweet from Jake Donovan, boxing reporter. Jermell Charlo's revenge-fueled 11th round stoppage of Tony Harrison was a hit in the ring and with viewers, averaging 2.223 million viewers and peaking at 2.233 million. It was the second most watched boxing match of 2019. Link in the description. You know, I'll cite the source. So it did 2.233 million, peak. And the only thing that's kind of weird is usually the peak is a more pronounced number than the average. Like they're not usually as close. Like it'll be like 2.5 or 2.6, but very good numbers. And this is a reporter, also a boxing reporter. This is credentials. He works with PBC, USA Today, around the NFL, WWE. And he pulled up a statistic. He did the research. Mark Ortega. He says PBC on Fox performed 103% better than the year-long average for top-ranked boxing on ESPN, which averaged 692,000 viewers per telecast. Right? So that's clear to see that Al Heyman, the PBC brand, Premier Boxing Champions, are dominating American boxing. DAZN refuses to release any of their numbers, so we don't really know what those fights are doing. You'll get fluff pieces from people who are likely paid from Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn says he doesn't mind doing stuff like that. So, they'll say like over 8 or 9 markets, DAZN, Spain, and all this stuff. DAZN, Japan, Canelo, Kovalev did this, or Joshua Ruiz did 1.8. If you hear any number, it'll be something like that. But what they're not factoring in is out of the 9 markets that DAZN covers, 8 of them you can still do the 30-day free trial. So that's not a realistic number of a success rate, because DAZN it's pretty much comparable to a premium cable, but it's just an app. This is a premium app that you have to pay for $10 to $20 a month, or an annual purchase point. And if you're factoring in free trials, that doesn't count. That's like factoring in how many people watch Wilder versus Ortiz on Fox pay-per-view part 2, the rematch, and then you start tallying in the people who illegally streamed it. That's not an indication of the success of the event. So to me, that just goes to show, if you have to do all of that and tally all these extra numbers outside of the US market, when has that been the case? Then that means to me that the star power is fading with a lot of the fighters on DAZN. Like Canelo used to do significant numbers, a million, close to it, something like that, by himself in America only, even on pay-per-view. And when he fought, he had these numbers on HBO. Like when he fought Kirkland, he got around and it was a week after they scheduled it. They had a good lead in because Mayweather Pacquiao. Here, I'll pull it up for you guys. Mayweather Pacquiao was a week before it, and then Canelo fought in Texas right after. So I remember it did over 2 million. So that fight, that was that did extremely well. Canelo Kirkland delivers HBO's best rating since 2006. So it had an average viewership of 2,146,000, and it peaked at 2.296. So obviously the benefit to HBO is it's a premium network, unlike Fox. So people have to pay to have it, but HBO is no longer in boxing. And you look at the numbers, this is similar to what Jermell did, but he did it on free TV. But again, he didn't have a lead-in program like Mayweather Pacquiao. They built this fight. Jermell, Charlo, and Harrison did an excellent job making you want to see them battle. They did an excellent job in promoting it. Fox did a really great job to make you want to see it, and shoulder programming. And also Charlo did a great job of fighting like he wanted it. Like, people acting like, I do think Jack Reese picked a weird stoppage time. I think he should have stopped it after Mel hit him with 3 or 4 uppercuts in a row, and Tony Harrison's head was bopping all against the ropes in the second knockdown. He probably could have stopped it right there. That would have made sense to me, instead of the exact spot where he did. But nonetheless, the right person won, and it should have been stopped. It just, did you stop it at the second knockdown, or whatever? Jack Reese tried to give him all the chance in the world, to recover, which was weird. But the bottom line, it needed to be stopped. Harrison looked depleted, and he was giving up too much punches without throwing back. Without throwing back. So it is what it is. But you have to give credit to Jermell Charlo, because from round 1, he was seeking a knockout. You could tell by how he was fighting. He was missing wildly, because Tony Harrison is a good boxer. So there were spots where he was missing early on, but he stuck to the game plan, and he started off very energetic, and he closed very energetic. So the right man won fair and square. Now to see that he did good numbers, it's a wrap. Imagine if they put them back on the card together. The Charlo brothers, I know this has to make the racists and old media mad as hell, because the Charlos, it just shows you the brand is there, the branding. They know how to brand themselves. They got drip, you know what I'm saying? They know how to dress and, know how to entertain, and then they have action style fights. It's very clear to me that PBC is dominating, I repeat, dominating American boxing. There's no other thing that you could say. Wilder's doing 300,000 on pay-per-view. Spence is doing 350,000 back-to-back with Mikey Garcia, and then also with Sean Porter on pay-per-view. The crowds are filling out. The Wilder crowd was good. This was for the Charlo fight, Ontario. The venue was actually cool. I was there in attendance, but I think it would have been even bigger crowd if they put it in LA. But promoters get last minute deals and shit like that. So it's like, why pay for a venue if somebody's willing to host in their city? That, like, you look at Top Rank, they had Shakur Stevenson fighting in Reno. I think there was a reason. Bob Arum probably got a good deal, crazy deal, or got the venue because people want you to bring an attraction to their casino or to their city. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't know the decision behind it, but people in boxing, new media, we control the narrative. And the bottom line is Charlo's entertaining. He got his belt back. He set out and did everything he said he was going to do. Look, he's getting love from an MMA fighter. Cody no love. And look, the haters mad, bro. Look, they mad at Lions Only. Look, he just said you suck for no reason. So, the haters gonna hate, but the Twins, they're doing real good for themselves, and so is PBC. PBC is doing an awesome job in controlling the American market. I mean, the kid Charlo just got 2.2 million views on Fox during Christmas time. There's other things to watch. Actually, there's a 49er game on that Saturday because, it's Christmas, so everything's jam-packed. Christmas week. And look, here's just a comparatively speaking. See, this is from Top Rank. This is from ESPN, actually. The most viewed boxing telecast on cable. See how they have to put on cable, so to make it not a lie. So ESPN it's not on basic cable, so that's why they're using a little bit of trickery with the word. But Crawford versus Kavalauskas, Mean Machine, which was a good fight, very good card for Top Rank to end the year. It peaked at 1.65. That was the peak. So the average is usually always going to be lower. So the average was probably 1.4 million, something like that. 1.5 million maybe. And then it peaked the high. So they used the highest number. This is the highest number in. So this was to complete Top Rank's major boxing cards. Crawford versus Kavalauskas, the highest number that they've achieved this whole year is 1.65 million. And ESPN, it's not like it's not like DAZN or something, like it's a small network. ESPN, they have it's probably the biggest sports, known for sports. Fox is not known only for sports. ESPN is known for sports. So it goes to show you something's different with the way they're promoting their fights or the interest level of some of the fights. If the biggest Crawford versus Mean Machine, which it wasn't like Crawford Spence or Crawford Porter, one of the fights people really want to see. You got to also keep in mind this had a great card attached. You had Mick Conlon in an important rematch for his career from the amateurs. You had Teofimo challenging for a title, which he achieved, versus Richard Comey, and you had a hell of a lead-in. What a lead-in is a lead-in show. You had the Heisman. You had the Heisman Trophy Award, right? And that was right before this. So people who are finishing the Heisman Awards, if you just left the channel on, then boom, oh, okay, boxing. So you might stay tuned because you're already tuned into the channel. That's what a lead-in is. Charlo didn't have that. Charlo didn't have no Grammys and then come on right after, while people were already tuned in to the Grammys and left the channel on. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. But Charlo is the second. Keith Thurman versus Josecito Lopez, I believe, was the first, the most watched fight on cable this year. That was in January. So PBC on Fox, they started their year in January hot and they closed hot because they have the number 1 and 2 in all of boxing, most viewership. And these are like facts. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. So that's why this stat was conjured up. PBC on Fox performed 103% better than the year-long average for Top Rank on ESPN. And just to put it in further perspective, let's see if I could. Kovalev versus Yard was a good fight for ESPN. This is the power of the internet. Let's see if I could. Nah, I don't even see it. I'm not even going to look for it too hard. But even the Kovalev Yard was another ESPN fight. Right? And it didn't do 1 million. So it just goes to show you boxing still a niche sport. And at the helm of it, you have guys like Charlo, Keith Thurman, and Keith Thurman, on top of having the number with Josecito, he also had a successful pay-per-view with Manny Pacquiao, which also delivered strong numbers, and fans were left satisfied with the end result. So, 2020 is going to be very interesting, but this is why you see Bob Arum saying it's hard to sell tickets in America, and, DAZN ain't releasing no numbers. You have Eddie Hearn constantly trying to get guys like Charlo and PBC dudes over on DAZN, and we offered the other big Charlo, we offered him a big fight deal to fight Andrade because the Charlos is money. you know. And I told you guys, it's funny, I predicted all of this. I told you guys, PBC it's starting to pay off because they've invested into the American market. I told you, new media. Do you going to show respect to American fighters, you know, even if they're black American fighters? It's just what it is. We control the narrative. Everything goes through new media in America. I told you. And these other companies, they went away from that. And HBO, they were like almost the first to do this. They kept promoting Eastern European fighters and guys from Kazakhstan and Russia, Ukraine. And that's great. There's great people there. There's great fighters. But that can't be your only focus. You're an American company. And you have to understand, culturally, people relate to the Charlo. They're from some of the same cities that Texas is a big sports state. Sports, not just boxing, but they love boxing, but they love sports. Look at him at the football game, right? And then Top Rank and all these dudes, they kind of went off like what HBO boxing was doing, which is to put foreign fighters in America and rep that harder than they do American fighters. It's a formula that's always going to deliver you those same results, because some of them don't speak the common language, or they don't choose to, or they lose and choose not to speak English, like Golovkin, you know. And it makes it harder to build up the fight. Like if Golovkin, he's not much of a showman. He's a good fighter, but he's not much of a showman. You've never seen a Golovkin build up that was like Tony Harrison versus Charlo. Two guys who don't like each other, that let it be known, and were coming to, you know, hurt each other. That's why you see these guys rising. You know, the fact that Charlo's has this shoe collection and different stuff like that, bro. It's just a different, people could relate differently to certain experiences and people, you know. And for whatever reason, these companies, they refuse to acknowledge this. And then that's why PBC, they never forgot about it. They're putting Mexican Americans like Andy Ruiz in positions to be seen. They're putting David Benavidez, Mario Barrios. They're putting African American black fighters like the Charlos. Tank, his fight, I promise you, in Atlanta, it's about to be a movie. About to be sick with Gamboa. You know, Badu Jack on the card, Jean Pascal on the card. Like, people Americans have heard of. Not just a bunch of like Sergey Zizek, you know what I'm saying? Forgikoke, you know, like people that you don't know. And then this is why they're delivering numbers too. It's easy. It's like, you know, easy to understand. You see the build up with Charlo and Harrison, you could tell, boom, instantly, the guys don't like each other. You know, that's just what it is. So congrats to Charlo. Very good numbers. He came and should be trainer of the year. Derek James, they got it done. Period. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts. Shout out to the numbers. Man, PBC making it hard to eat out here. If you love what I'm doing, smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.